Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, June 28th, 2015. Ra and Asha, Pan, and for the video exercise, Luce also, are all here in the Lynn-Body-Mind. In the Jamie Body-Mind, Black Wolf, Betty Jean, Fritz, and for the videoed portion, also Paul, are in the Jamie Body-Mind. Within the past several hours, we have broken out of the top of another layer of physical size coming out the top of another humanoid man's head.
That's true.
And beginning to draw the channels up to the non-physical higher dimension beings that are affiliated with that level of physicality.
That's true.
We're getting our bearings, getting our sea legs. We have received some interesting messages over the last 12 hours.
That's true.
And a lot is still to be discovered about what those messages mean. So we'll go with our foundational assignment, which is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions right now to trigger the awakening right now. And with that, it begins.
Let's do that again. Back of the oneness chakra, the critical mass of truth.
Maybe do that oneness chakra one more time.
Yeah.
It's possible they don't know about the oneness chakra in this non-physical.
Weird. It's true.
It seems that they want to see that again. We did it and they said, what?
It's true.
And then we did it again. Let's give them some repetition. Oneness chakra.
Bring a critical mass of truth in the oneness chakra until it pops.
I see people rubbing their eyes.
That's true, and like watching it in slow motion over and over again.
All right, let's do it one more time. Drawing the light down from above, up from below, letting those rivers of light meet at the intersection of oneness chakra and vertical channel. Let it pop out the back. We'll get as long as we need to be to reach truth and get that Tesla zap zap. Get the current to flow through us. Be a Tesla wire. Zap, 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 zap. Vertical transmission of power.
That's true.
By stretching target to target. And when we're actually hitting target to target, there's so much current flowing through, it's unmistakable.
That's true.
Playing the grace if needed to be able to reach target to target so that we can do our work. Not playing the grace to get the work done, but playing the grace to get the alignment so we can do the work.
It's true.
We've begun to define ourselves as this
big presence,
big humanoid man, and so we cannot just do this for him, to serve his world at least his planet, to do this for his planet at least. How may we be of service right now to trigger the awakening right now? And I see some kind of communications room where there's somebody, a reasonably entry-level position where they're just supposed to monitor communications from the planet up into the higher dimensions.
That's true.
And this flips some kind of switch that just doesn't go on.
That's true.
And that person goes, what?
Whoa!
And it's like, hold on, I must have gotten that wrong. How may we be of service right now to trigger the awakening right now? And he says, no, it did it twice.
Yeah, he's flipping through the manual now.
How may we be of service right now to trigger the awakening right now? He's going to talk to somebody.
That's true.
Saying, it kind of says, when this happens, call this department.
That's true.
Now let's get the current of errors going up, up, up. And the omissions. These are all the things that haven't happened. I seem to be feeling more like Luce right now.
That's true.
And I seem to be channeling somebody who might be one of the people who were speaking through us last night.
That's possible.
And this person knows that something is wrong. This is a bad plan. It's a bad idea, a bad game.
That's true.
This should be stopped.
That's true.
And he knows that his ability to stop it doesn't work.
Doesn't work, no.
Let's again ask the question, how may we be of service right now to trigger the awakening right now? What we're doing is sending up the films of what it's like in these subatomic layers of the physical dimension.
And now it's like that whole board is lighting up.
Yes. Here's what it is like down here in the subatomic layers, and I start to hear like the screams and the cries.
That's true.
Of what it's actually like. So much suffering down
That's
here.
true.
Many people trying to put on a happy face.
That's true.
Trying to fit in, not understanding why it never feels right, why nothing ever feels right.
That's true.
And so much of a background hum of lies.
That's true.
That people's brains just don't work. They don't work, and they can't tell what's true and untrue.
That's true.
And if we can't even tell what's true, then we're helpless at the starting gate.
That's true. And like TV screens are coming on all around that room that have never come on.
Yes. Live streaming
Live
up.
streaming
How
up.
may we be of service right now to trigger the awakening right now? Stretch longer and
Way
clear out
longer.
more errors. We're
way
starting to
down.
tap into some really deep pools of errors at
That's
these
true.
big, larger layers.
That's true.
Or big, larger physical dimension. And these are errors that have occurred for many reasons. Now, part of it is simply the interdimensional communication gap.
That's true.
How it's so much more difficult than anyone thinks it is.
That's
and
true.
How from the higher dimensions, from the non-physical, they're thinking, what's wrong with these people? Why don't they do what they're supposed to do?
That's true.
And from the physical dimension end of the spectrum, it's the sensation is, why can't I ever get any clear guidance?
That's true.
It's a problem.
That is super true.
Continuing to pulse the errors.
It's like errors of disconnect, missed connection.
Yes, I see the two wires.
Yes,
not
that's what I'm seeing.
meeting.
Wires,
Yes,
not meeting,
not
and one
meeting.
shooting up and one shooting down, and they're.
sparks flying,
Yeah.
and just nothing good happening.
That's true.
Suggesting again very strongly how important it is for the non-physical to get into the physical.
Live streaming
Perhaps
it
what
up.
we start to do is live stream up what we know.
That's true.
We know that there are souls trapped in the physical
dimension.
without higher dimension support,
That's true.
and that they are in the subatomic layers and suffering very,
true.
very deeply.
That's true.
Live streaming this up,
Right
sending up the
now.
errors. How may we be of service right now to trigger the awakening right now? That seems to be the key to get on their light boards,
That's
get their
true.
boards to light up. In these non-physical layers, it seems impossible that it's as dense as it actually is in the physical.
That's true.
And so what has been suggested in other layers, we've been coming up from one subatomic layer to the next,
That's true.
getting larger, getting larger, getting larger. We've been doing this for quite some time.
That's true.
Here's all the data.
All the data
and
translated.
let's translate it and tune it to the current words and to a size that makes sense.
Right.
We've been doing this for quite some time, and so far 100% of the time what fails
Yes, that's true.
is for those who are in the higher dimensions to stay in the higher dimensions, attempting to reach those who are in the physical.
That's true.
Because it's so much harder to live down here than we who came from the non-physical want to believe it is. And I came from the non-physical just like you did, but I
did
have...
too.
All
We
of
all
us
did.
who are speaking to you now came from the non-physical just as you did, and
That's
we
true.
have committed to living in the physical until this problem is resolved, because there isn't any other way to know what's really going on here.
That is true.
You can't map from the air. You have to get down on the ground
That's true.
and see what works and what doesn't work.
That's true.
What doesn't work is trying to map from the air, so to speak. The only chance of getting something to work is to get down on the ground.
That's true.
So in other physical dimension levels, what has shaken things up is to get the non-physical beings to get off the couch and get into the physical bodies and just try it.
That's true.
And what we have discovered is that nobody can maintain their clarity for even as much as 5 minutes.
That's true.
And usually for about 30 seconds
That's
is
true.
about how long it takes for people to get lost and start to wander off. And so we
That's
strongly suggest safety harnesses and doing this as a team, you know, just
That's true.
one person stay up, one person go down, pull that person up.
That's true.
As soon as they start to wander off, which happens very,
Very
very quickly.
quickly.
So have as your frame of reference and your expectation that within about a minute you'll
That's
need
true.
to haul them up, and in very rare cases they might last as long as
2 minutes.
2 minutes, and very, very rare cases 5 minutes.
That's
and
true.
haul them up because they'll be hurting things and racking up bad karma.
That's true.
An elephant walking around in a house made for mice.
That's true.
One thing we can do is provide you with the data of what doesn't work. We have a long, long, long list of things that have been tried and tested, and we
That's
can
true.
show you, we can provide you all the supporting data of all the tests. But we know that there is a plan,
That's true.
divine plan, and we all have individual aspects of that plan that have been assigned to us.
That's true.
Soul plans, and there's something for each of us to do every single moment.
That's
Me
true.
too, you
Me
too, right
too,
now.
me too, you too.
And that when we are living our soul plan, we're just doing moment by moment by moment what it is we're supposed to do.
That's true.
And yes,
I have a very strange, sudden stabbing pain at a very specific point.
good,
Right there.
good.
My
Pulse it
story
up.
is that someone
Trying to tap
trying
in.
to get through.
So just let them come in just for a little bit, right?
That's true.
Like we were doing earlier today.
That's true.
Starting to wander off course.
Yep.
Okay,
Pull
now
up.
spit them out. Spit them out. He says it's like playing blind man's bluff.
That's true.
Disoriented, can't see, can't hear,
That's true.
can't tell what to do, think you're doing it. And when they show him the map of where he went,
Right.
he went over here and he was supposed to go over there.
Right. He pinned the tail
On the wrong,
wall.
completely,
The
or
donkey's
maybe the
over
wrong
there.
building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something completely wrong.
That's true.
We understand. This
That's
is
true.
how it is when we begin to work interdimensionally, and we don't consider ourselves experts on
No.
it, but we've been doing this far longer than anyone we've come across
That's
in
true.
any of the dimensions we've been working through, and there are a lot of
A
them.
lot.
Here's the long
That's true.
list. So friends, this is a process that has begun now for your level. Now, one thing we do know is that there is a contagion that's spreading very rapidly,
That's true.
and that it's probably already here because
That's true.
truth seems to be so
Rare.
much. Yes, it's rare here,
That's true.
and that's usually a sign that the contagion has already reached us. And
That's
so
true.
we ask you one way to test it, what has worked very well in other higher dimensions, quote unquote, for other levels of physical dimension,
That's
is for them to test their takedown system, their if all else fails
Yes.
and all hell is breaking loose, press this button, pull this lever, those takedown systems,
Yes.
those emergency systems. Test them. You can always undo an error, and here's a declaration: we absolve you, we take all your bad karma for an
That's true.
overreaction on your part.
That's
if
true.
if you test that system and bad things happen, we'll take the bad karma.
That's true.
If you underreact, if you don't test it, that bad karma is all yours. And this has worked very well, so you can just test it and see what happens. Nobody else so far has found that their systems work.
No.
And so that's one thing you can do.
That
And
is
if you
true.
discover that that is a broken takedown system, as has
Yes,
everyone else so far, then we strongly suggest that you seal the
Seal.
ceilings to protect your higher souls so that they can continue to give you clear guidance without
true.
themselves being overwhelmed by lies.
It's true. And call up to them to continue the chain.
Yes, well, nobody ever does that,
No.
but it's a good thought.
That's true.
Nobody so far has done that without us directly being there in the room with them.
That's true.